Response time jumped from 120 ms to 400 ms. CPU hit 100% and started dropping connections. The culprit? Every product page used get server-side props. The app router introduced in Next.js 13 is still evolving. As of Next.js 14, some features like generate static params and generate metadata have stabilized, but others, e.g., Next Headers API, may change. Always pin your Next.js version in package, JSON, and test upgrades in staging before deploying to production. The article mentions on-demand revalidation, but doesn't show code. Here's a minimal API route that triggers revalidation for a specific page when your CMS sends a webhook. This avoids time-based revalidation delays. Middleware runs on every matched request, even for static assets if not scoped with Matcher. A slow middleware, e.g., fetching user data from a database, can add 100 ms plus to every request, defeating the purpose of edge execution. Keep middleware stateless and fast. Use it only for auth checks, redirects, and header manipulation. Let's break down Next.js basics, how it works, and the exact mistake behind that failure. Next.js is a React framework that adds file-based routing, server rendering, and build time optimization. It solves three problems plain React cannot: initial page load performance, search engine visibility, and routing complexity. In Next.js, your file system is your router. Drop a file in Pages and it becomes a route. Dynamic routes use square brackets, product ID, JS matches products 42. Here's a dynamic route example. The file product ID, JS handles every product URL. Notice we guard against an empty query. Router query is empty during hydration. Router query is empty during hydration. If you use it directly in an API call, you'll send undefined as the ID. Always guard with a loading state. Next.js supports 4 rendering strategies. SSG builds HTML at deploy time, fastest. SSR runs on every request, expensive. ISR combines static speed with near real-time freshness via a revalidate timer. This blog page uses SSG with ISR. Get static paths tells Next.js which slugs to pre-build. Get static props fetches data at build time. The revalidate 60 means the page regenerates in the background after 60 seconds. 2 components trip up many developers. NextLink enables client-side navigation and prefetches linked pages. NextImage automatically serves WebP, resizes, and prevents layout shift by requiring width and height. Here's a real-world example. NextImage requires width and height to reserve space and prevent layout shift. NextLink handles client-side navigation without a full page reload. NextImage requires width and height to prevent cumulative layout shift. Without them, the browser can't reserve space, causing content to jump and hurting your Google ranking. Next.js 13 introduced the app router. Every component is a server component by default, 0 JavaScript shipped to the browser. Data fetching uses async await directly. Only add use client when you need interactivity. In the app router, this page is a server component. It fetches data directly with fetch and ISR caching. The Add to Cart button is a separate client component because it needs on-click. This client component uses useClient because it needs useState and an event handler. Keep client components minimal, only for interactivity. Adding useClient to every component defeats the purpose of the app router. Only add it when you need useState, useEffect, or event handlers. Keep components as server components by default. Next.js includes built-in API routes. Files in Pages/API become serverless endpoints. Middleware runs before every request at the Content Delivery Network edge, perfect for auth checks and redirects. Here's an API route in the app router. Each HTTP method is a named export. The GET handler paginates results, and the post handler validates input before creating a user. Middleware runs on every matched request. Here we check for an auth token on dashboard routes and add a request ID header. Use Matcher to limit which routes trigger middleware. In production, deployment configuration matters as much as code. Set cache control headers for static assets. use ISR over SSR, and run bundle analysis to find large dependencies. This next, config.js sets aggressive caching for static assets, 1 year, immutable. It also configures allowed image domains for next image. This is the same issue we highlighted at the start. Here's exactly why that happened. Under Black Friday traffic, every product page used get server-side props to fetch pricing from the database. Each request took 50-200 ms, and with 12,000 concurrent requests, the 4-core server couldn't keep up. CPU hit 100% and started dropping connections. Every product page used get server-side props to fetch pricing on every request, causing the server to generate 12,000 HTML pages per second under Black Friday traffic, which it couldn't handle. The fix was to switch from get server-side props to get static props with revalidate. 60. Top products were pre-built at deploy time. Less popular products used fallback, blocking to SSR on first hit, then cache. An on-demand revalidation webhook triggers when prices change. Response time dropped to 15 ms, CPU to 15%. Using get server-side props for data that changes once per day is the most expensive mistake. Each request runs a server function, and under load, the server cannot keep up. Default to ISR instead. To diagnose rendering issues, first check if a page is actually static by looking at the build output. Use grep to find get server-side props usage. Verify caching headers with curl. Let's run through some common interview questions. What is the difference between SSG and SSR? SSG builds at deploy time, SSR per request. Why does next image require width and height? To prevent CLS by reserving space. When should you use get server-side props? Only when data must be fresh per request and in initial HTML. And a few frequently asked questions. What is ISR? Static regeneration with revalidate timer. Can I use get server-side props in app router? No, use async-await directly. How do I prevent layout shift? Always provide width and height to next image. Let's recap the key takeaways. File-based routing, folder equals navigation. Default to SSG ISR, not SSR. Next image requires width height. Use middleware for auth, not every page. Ready to go deeper? Up next. Next.js 16. Every new feature explained with code examples, then partial pre-rendering in Next.js 16, then building type-safe forms with Zod, React Hook Form, and Next.js 16, and 10 common Next.js 16 app router mistakes, and how to fix them. Find them all at TheCodeForge.io. Thanks for watching. The full article and code examples are covered in detail at TheCodeForge.io.